What is up? I am Jeff Biggs, and I am ready for this NFL schedule release. Let's go.
How about them Cowboys? It's the Cowboys Squad. Everything Dallas Cowboys every week. Covering all the big hits and game-changing plays from America's team the way only the Locked On Podcast Network can. Get ready and squad up. It's the Cowboys Squad Show, starting now.
All right, we are fired up and ready to go, and thank you so much for adding us to your schedule, pun intended. We are blessed to have you every Monday and Thursday, and it is great to be back with you for another edition of the Cowboys Squad Show. Man, before you know it, June is going to be here, and then another blink of the eye, and we'll be training camp in September and preseason and the whole thing, August.
It comes quick. It comes quick. It really does.
Yeah, there's like a moment where you think, man, it looks forever away. How are we going to get there? How are we going to get through it? But I mean, gosh, Landon, you and Marcus, literally, I mean, you do it every single day, 52 weeks a year. So big props to you guys.
Well, seriously. it certainly makes the time go quicker, right? Like, I mean, when you talk about it, because then you're just talking about it, you're talking about it, then suddenly I'm packing for Oxnard. It's crazy.
That would be the positive spin right there, my friend. As always, we start with a welcome to the co-host of the daily Locked On Cowboys podcast, Landon McCool, with the cool last name, and we have former Cowboys coach, the one and only Glenn Stretch Smith, playing a little hurt today with the voice, but he's fired up. He's ready to go. He plays hurt. He's a football player. Come on.
He didn't even show up. He's not even on the injury list. He didn't show up on the injury list.
Not taking a knee, fellas. I'm not doing it.
Fighting through it.
All right, so we are on the clock. We are literally waiting for the official release and maybe some leaks in between. We've got a couple. We're going to get into those. We have, as always, there's always new Cowboys news, including a no-show and a new deal, not for George Pickens, but for Dak. Did somebody do a show on that? Did somebody talk about that? A new deal for Dak? Where did that come from? We're going to get into that as well. But Landon, let's take a dive. We can circle back. We got a whole hour here. So let's just start with what we know. When you were out, you weren't out, but you weren't with us on Monday, but we knew Monday, right? We knew the Cowboys are going to open up week 1, Sunday night football on the road at the Giants. We know week 3, Brazil against the Ravens, Thanksgiving home against the Eagles. So we know that. Now we've gotten leaks that week 5, the Cowboys are going to be home Thursday night football against the Bucks. They're also going to potentially play week 7 at Philly on Monday Night Football. Those are a couple that have kind of trickled in, waiting for the official confirmation.
I think isn't that Tampa Bay game week 5 on the road?
No, home.
You sure?
Yeah, because they're one of the home teams. The home teams for the home games for the Cowboys are Eagles, Commanders, Giants, Jags, which is supposed to be a Sunday night game, potentially rumored. The Titans, Ravens, well, that's in Brazil, Cardinals, 49ers, and Bucks. And then away are Eagles, Commanders, Giants, Green Bay, Houston, Indy, Seattle, and the Rams. So we knew going in the Bucks were already going to be a home game. We just didn't know when. So I think for me, kind of the thing is, and I'll let you guys answer, okay, you got that trip to Brazil. So what does it look like after week 3, and how does that kind of play out in addition to all of the Thursday night games that the Cowboys seem to get, right?
Well, on top of that, does it mean that you're going to get like the earliest possible bye week that you can get, which I think is week 4 or 5, right? I mean, we don't have it all laid out quite yet, but I think that's just as bad, you know. I mean, the international game, look, I mean, it's a lot of travel, it's a lot of disruption. That certainly is a pain, but ultimately it's better than traveling to London. It's better than traveling to, someplace where you're changing time zones and having to get used to, dealing with time zones. This is just essentially time zone wise the same as playing on the East Coast. So I think the issue is, one of the biggest issues is the team making it through the games on that Brazilian field. We saw that was a problem last time someone played down there. And then on top of that, like, how do they handle the break surrounding in that, and are they going to force the Cowboys to take an one of the early buys, which could be really bad, especially considering how tough the schedule is going to be. Like you could be facing an extremely long stretch to finish the season.
Would you rather take it there at week 5 or like week 12?
I'd rather have it at week 12, Coach. I mean, just in my opinion, I feel like it's nice to get like a week to get some health, get a breather going, and then kind of load up for those last few games to get ready for the playoffs.
Yeah, I hope if that week 4 game is a road game, you'd like for that to be Houston. So
yes,
if you went 3 to Rio, 4 to Houston, quick Thursday night turnaround for Tampa, at least that travel makes sense, and it would. I think it would help you not have to pull that bye week that early. It's going to be an interesting shakedown here because I think you got some real issues. I was reading about the NFLPA where they're wanting more grass fields. Well, the NFL is wanting to expand to more of these countries, and I got news for you that the blades of grass in Rio are different than the blades of grass at the Star. I mean, it's a different animal. And I remember going down to Mexico, and the field was pristine in Azteca, but I'm telling you that blade of grass was thick. Guys were slipping all over the place. I don't know. I have some different thoughts about that, but certainly going to Brazil, you're probably going to be playing on a grass field.
Yeah, and the whole international play, that's a whole other show in and of itself, right?
Sure.
I mean, I guess what is the goal here to try to make the NFL similar to soccer? I'm assuming that's what they hope will happen one day.
Well, or what the NBA did when they were going to China and going all over the world and trying to market it from a worldwide marketing brand.
Right. Some of the other rumors, real quick, and again, we're going to circle back, and this is just again speculation, but that they would get a Week 16 Sunday night game at home with the Jags, Week 17 home with the Giants, and then they would possibly wrap up the regular season on the road at Washington. They got to get at least one of those cold weather games in there. Right, for the Cowboys, they can't play all those East Coast teams in September.
I'd rather it be Washington than Green Bay.
Yeah, you and I both.
That Green Bay game, I'm really interested to see when it is. That's one that I have kind of eyeballed is when that gets released, because that could really make a difference on not only the weather and what it's like playing in the game, but also who's playing in the game.
Well, we went there in December one year, and I'm telling you, I think we were the only sober people in the whole town. They get it ready and rolling.
Keeps you warm, though, right? I guess. I don't drink either, but I guess if you're there and you're freezing,
you don't drink. You don't live in Green Bay. If you live there, you'd be drinking till the damn world looked flat.
There was there's other speculation too that another big road game at Seattle against the defending Super Bowl champion Seahawks will be a Monday night game. They love those Monday night games in Seattle. Those are the NFL. So that would make sense. Cowboys in Seattle Monday night.
And that's a far flight. I mean, you'd be getting back here when Bill Hemmer and Dana Perino go on about 8:30 in the morning, 8 o'clock, whatever time they go on Fox.
Well, we'll keep our eyes on that. Again, we've got the full release should be happening here in just a few minutes. Wanted to hit on a couple of other items if we could. So, we've talked about one of the big things over the last couple of weeks was, okay, George Pickens signed the tag. He's good to go. There were reports that Pickens was not in attendance. He was a no-show on Monday when they had voluntary workouts, team workouts for the first time at the Star. Does that mean anything to you guys? Because it was voluntary, is that okay? I mean, as long as he's there for the the OTAs. That's all that counts.
I mean, I think the story would be if he showed up at the voluntary practice. Honestly, like I think we all anticipated him not going to the voluntary practices. So yeah, I'm not shocked or surprised.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not surprised, but I don't like it. I mean, you're looking for a big time contract. You want a big time deal. I mean, get your ass in there and do what a big time player does, which is lead by example and get going. Or you're going to keep, you're going to keep dealing with people questioning, is it really important to you? Is it? I mean, all the things that go along with it. I mean, if I was coaching him, I'd be talking to him about coming in. I'd be talking to him about setting the example. I'd be talking to him about saying, if you want a long-term deal and you want to get yourself where you want to be in your career, guess what? Get in here. Get in here and get the synergy. Start building synergy around yourself. What you get a better workout at Planet Fitness than you do at the Star? It doesn't make any sense to me.
I get it. Like, I completely agree with you. I also think that this is about the most he can show his displeasure with the fact that there hasn't been contract and that he's on the franchise deal, that without getting penalized for it, I guess, because this is standard at this point for guys that are trying to work out a deal to not show up at voluntary workouts. I agree. I don't like the practice. But I also don't think this is quite where he'll take a public hit for not showing up.
Right, but do you want to change the course of what you've been doing? And if you want to change the course, then you know what? Let's put a different sail up on the mast. Let's put a different rudder in the water, and let's sail this thing in a little different direction. That's all I'm saying. I'm not. It doesn't mean
you're right.
And I'm sure they're probably throwing routes on air and they're probably doing some things where he's working with Dak. I'm sure of that. That's fine. But I mean, I'm telling you, team chemistry is built in the off season and doing things around, in my mind, in the off season. It's not always in the weight room or in the training room. It's going out with your teammates. It's doing some different things that you enjoy, the people that you're around. So if you really want to, change the look, get your ass in there and get to working out.
You're not wrong. I mean, there is a case for being proactive and like trying to, change the narrative about yourself. And he certainly had the opportunity to do that by becoming in and doing something in this training camp, in this voluntary practice. I just think that I think he could have taken an opportunity to do a positive step. You're absolutely right. However, I also don't think that him not going is going to be a slight against him necessarily. So I think we're not disagreeing with each other. I think you're right. He should have come in.
But if you want a long-term deal, don't you go in there and let Jerry see you in there and go over and cut yourself one of them long-term deals? Just like he'd do it with you. I promise you, he'd do it with you.
I think Mugaleto is not going to let him do it. I think that's
you don't work for him though. He works for you.
100%. I don't disagree with you. I just think, whether it's a good strategy or not, like that's the strategy that's been pretty standard for this kind of.
And I mean so that's why that explains why I'm on here in this podcast talking to you guys instead of still coaching, because
fair enough.
I'm not buying in.
You should say.
I mean, it's tough. Because it's look, on one side, I understand them trying to like maximize their opportunity to get money, and I agree that the teams also use leverage plays that are not always for the betterment of the team. But I think I have a hard time. I have a hard time choosing a side on some of this stuff in the contract negotiation ploys. I wish it didn't have to bleed into their ability to get players ready for the game. That's where I think the coaching side of you probably really gets tweaked a lot, right? Is that these guys are losing opportunities to get better with their team.
Yeah.
And I think that's legitimate, obviously.
It's not like you have to be there in there at 6:30 or 7:00 in the morning. I mean, you can pick your time. You can tell the string coach, hey, you know what? I'm going in to go in and steam and whatever at 10. I'll be in here to lift at 10:30 or 11 or whatever you want to do. I mean, it's not a regimented set schedule of time that you have to be there. So if you want to sleep your giblet ass in the bed till 10 o'clock in the morning, then stay in bed till 10 o'clock and then go work out. There's nothing wrong with that.
Yeah, for sure. I hate that they've commoditized these workouts as a negotiating chip, but it is that way now, unfortunately, and certainly not unique to George Pickens.
Hey, Coach, I had a question for you. We were kind of joking about the offseason flying by from somebody that's a part of the team. Does the offseason, does it feel long? Does it feel too short? I mean, no, not many people, honestly, I'm being serious. Not many people have that kind of a schedule where, you're just hardcore from May, June, but then you have that time off after the season.
Yeah, it's not hardcore right now. And that's what I'm saying. I mean, you can go in there and it's just a couple hours, probably 4 days a week. I mean, that's so we're talking about 8 hours. And then, if you want to throw or do something, whatever. I mean, you're doing that anyway. That's the point I'm making.
Right.
Whether you go to 24-hour fitness, Lifetime Fitness, wherever, or you go to the Star and you're working, you're getting yourself ready for this grind of a season that we're sitting here talking about. I mean, you're getting yourself in that position where you can take that on. Now, as a coach, I mean, this is the time that you want to, again, every day I would be in there. I mean, I'd go in there with my guys half the time. I'd go in there, and there'd be times I'd go in there and lift with them. There'd be times I'd go in there and, just hey, how's your family doing? Whatever the scenario is, how are things going? Get away. That's what I'm saying. You build a bond with your players outside of the grind of, the media chasing you around, all the things that go on. I mean, this is the time of year when there's really not a whole hell of a lot going on out there. Coaches are getting ready before we go to camp. They're going to get ready to take probably a month off. So this is the time when you can go and develop a relationship with those guys and do it in a non-football way. Let them see the human side of you. Go in there and get to be part of who they are. See the human side of them. Hear what's going on in their lives. Hear about, if they've had a family member that passed, whatever the scenario is. How are your kids doing? What's going on with, with whoever your wife is? What's going on? I mean, you're developing a bond with your guys. I mean, the one thing I'm not going to get on the soapbox here, but the one thing I'll tell you is, and stop me if you guys have heard this before, there is nothing natural about playing football. Nothing. It's not a natural game. It isn't natural to get the shit knocked out of you and then get up and go get some more of it. You had basketball players, you guys watching that? Hell, they roll around on the floor, lay around like they're dying. Baseball, somebody the other day hit the top of the batting cage, ball came down, hit his eye, 12 days out. What? So football's not natural. So you have to attack it in a non-natural way. That's why only 1% of these guys make it. There is nothing natural about it. Not one single thing.
Well said, Coach. Well said. Appreciate that. Seriously.
And you got to get up and go do it again.
Yep, that's right.
Get up and go do it again.
By
the way, get up and go do it again.
I had a former player tell me that honestly, he was an elite defensive player. And he's shared with me once that he had anxiety because he was dreading the collision and the violence. I mean, he was a great guy, loved the game, everything else, but he would just, as the week got closer, he would just get kind of just anxious. I don't know how else to say it. And that's hardcore, man. All right.
And I'm telling you, and the guys that play it, I mean, are just. I'm just telling you, Eric Williams would rather headbutt you in the mouth than say hello. That's how he was.
Yeah.
I mean, so it's just it's a different animal, fellas. It's a different animal.
Yeah, well said. All right, we're going to take our first time out. When we come back, see if there's anything new with the schedule. We're about 5 minutes away, so we're getting close. We'll be able to go over all the games and look at everything in detail. We want to hear from you via the comment section. A lot of people jumping in already. Some of the regulars already there. Steven, Carmine, love you guys. We'll do that. Great to be with you on this Thursday night, schedule release night for the NFL. This is the Cowboys Squad Show. Support for today's episode comes from Square, the system that helps fix one of the biggest headaches in running a business. Starting a business is exciting, right? But actually running it, well, that's where things can get complicated fast. You got payments, inventory, staff, scheduling, online orders. It's a lot to manage. That's why Square brings everything together into one connected system. Square helps you take payments, track sales, manage inventory, and keep your business running smoothly without juggling a bunch of disconnected tools. Literally. And the cool thing is, there's a local coffee shop that uses Square, right? And it really makes everything simple, from fast payments to loyalty rewards. And as a customer, right, it's convenient. And from the business side, you can tell it really helps owners stay focused on serving people instead of constantly troubleshooting systems. And that's why it really stands out to me. Square helps businesses feel more efficient, professional, and ready to go. So if you're starting a business or running one that maybe deserves better tools, Square helps you sell, manage, and grow without slowing down. So right now, you can get up to $200 off Square hardware at square.com/go Locked On NFL. That's Square, SQUARE.com/GO/Locked On NFL. Run your business smarter with Square. Get started today. All right, we are back to square one, and we are getting ready for the NFL schedule release coming up in moments. That is the co-host of the Daily Locked On Cowboys podcast, Landon McCool, and Coach Glenn Stretch Smith. Landon, what do you got?
I think I got it. I think don't hold me to this, but I think this was released by an official NFL source, if I'm not mistaken, that does these grids, and we'll see if it plays out correctly. But if this is actually the schedule, then the Cowboys, man, they really caught some breaks here. Let's go through it. As we know, week 1 is at New York, right?
Right.
Week 2, we're playing in Dallas versus Washington. Week 3 in Dallas in Rio versus Baltimore, right? And then, Coach, you're right. The following week we play at Houston, right? Then home at Tampa. Then at Green Bay on October 18th.
Ooh, okay.
Early in the year, right?
This is autumn action.
At Philadelphia the following week. Versus Arizona in Dallas. At Indiana versus San Francisco. Week 11 is versus Tennessee. Week 12 is versus Philadelphia. That's the Thanksgiving game, right? If I'm not mistaken.
Yeah. Yep.
And then at Seattle, which on the 6th, week 13th. Week 14 is our bye, which is incredible. Again, if this is true, this is incredible. Then you play the Rams. So you get a week you get the bye week to play the Rams, which is, I think, great. And then let's see. I'm sorry, I lost track of where it was. Week 15 week 16 is Jacksonville. Week 17 versus New York, and week 18 at Washington.
So how many Monday night games is it?
Let's see. It's 3 Monday night. Well, what is that color? They have like a purple and a pink. Hold on. There's a Saturday game. I'm sorry. The color coding is very odd. There's at least 2. I can't. And then the Washington game is either a Saturday, could be either a Saturday or Sunday. I think that's because it's week 18. It could be flexible.
Right. Flex.
But
Okay.
at Philadelphia and at Seattle are both Monday night games.
Okay. Nice.
And
That's
then you've got Tampa Bay on Thursday night.
Okay.
That's at home. That's
at home, right? So that
what about Sunday night? Have they said that yet?
Yes, I think so.
Other than the Giants.
According to this, obviously the Giants, the Green Bay game will be the Sunday night game as well.
Jags.
And then the Jacksonville game will be Sunday night.
At home.
At home, yes.
Nice.
And then you've got only 3, it looks like, Sunday afternoon games. And then you've got like 4 1 p.m. games, which is interesting, actually. So, yeah. If this is
I ask you, where would you rather have the bye week? You got your wish on that, right?
I got my wish on everything, to be honest, Coach. If this is the schedule,
get off this show and get out and get you one of them $10 scratch and sniff tickets. Quit crapping around on here.
I don't know what I'm doing here. I'm going to take my phone and live stream the whole thing while I scratch it, because honestly, it may be the last time you see me.
Good luck to swell fella.
Yeah, it'll be a great time. We'll be partying up, and I'll be had half these games. Honestly, like, all kidding aside, like, if this is the Cowboys' schedule, they have a tough row. They've got a tough set of games that they have to play this year. To get them arranged this way, if it really is this, is incredible. Like, to get the late bye, to the fact that, I mean, look, you have to play a game in Rio this year. Like, that's part of this. To get this organized the way it is, I think is very manageable. And so, yeah, I'm pretty excited by the way these games are arranged. Somebody was just asking, what time does the Cowboys at Rams game start? And it looks like it's a late game. It looks like a Sunday afternoon game, 4:25. Carlos.
Okay. Yeah, well, it would have to be at least because of the West Coast.
Yeah.
Okay, man, that's good. That's great news, man. I mean, that's a big deal. And so Brazil to Houston, that's doable, right? For sure. I mean, you'll come back right after the game, rest up a little bit, go to Houston. Quick turnaround.
I'm trying to do the math on this real quick. Like, I'm not great at that kind of math, but it's like 9/27. So it's September 27th is the Baltimore game, and then you play Houston on I'm sorry, I was trying to do the math. That is a week later. I almost was trying to count it up, because you play Houston on 10/4, and I was trying to figure out how many days that is, but that's like 7. So that's a week. Okay, I was trying to figure out where like the 10-day breaks are, but that's after. It looks like it's because they play a Thursday night game, and then they play Green Bay a week later at Sunday Night Football. How does that make sense? I think some of the dates may be wrong on this.
Yeah.
Anyways,
I'm looking at the Cowboys side. They don't have it. They don't have anything. They haven't added anything yet. So I guess they're waiting for the TV show to do their thing before they. Although I was told they could at 6:30 Central they could post. I don't know what they're waiting for. Let's go.
Hit the refresh button, Jeff.
No, I'm doing that. Try to bother you.
Then don't.
All right, let's. I'll tell you what. Let's take out timeout number 2, and then we'll come back and see what we got.
I want to talk about the Everydayer Club.
Yeah, please. Yeah, tell us about that, Coach.
I don't know. I'm trying to get. I'm not a member of it. I was
prompting me. You're prompting me to talk about it.
No, I was hoping you could get. I was hoping I could get the password to the Honeycomb Hideout. What is it? OU812.
That's probably it. Yeah,
Van Halen album.
Yeah, the Everyday Club's great. I mean, it's an opportunity for us to interact with fans. I mean, obviously the headliner is that you don't have to listen to us recite ads and all the ad breaks get taken out. But I think the better part is that you get a chance to interact with us on Discord and part of the larger network too. So you can go talk a bunch of crap to Eagles fans or go brag about the schedule with whomever and talk, and then obviously interact with us as well. So it's just kind of a cool way to interact with fans, and we're gonna start taking questions and doing a bunch of stuff at training camp. It'll be fun as well. So
Carmine said he's magna cum laude of the Everydayer Club.
I've seen him on there. I've seen Carmine on. I think we've chatted a couple times. So yeah, that makes sense.
It's a new way to go clubbing. I mean, it's outstanding. The Everydayer Club. I love it. All right. Well, hey,
where does Carmine live? That's what I want. Where does Carmine live?
Will you let him go to break, for God's sakes?
No,
Coach?
I want to know if Carmine, if he gets in any night spots, wherever he lives, because he's in the Everydayer Club.
We'll tease that. We'll find out where Carmine lives after the break.
Yes, there we go. There we go. I'll be back. I got to find out too. Here we go. All right. Well, before we get to that, we got to talk a little bit about Gametime, because we can stream anything, right? We can order food in minutes. We can do everything from our phones, but somehow buying tickets to live events still feels way harder than it should be. You got the long lines, confusing checkout, prices jumping at the last second. I mean, it shouldn't be that complicated, right? Well, that's why there is Gametime. It gives fans the advantage and makes getting tickets fast and simple. Okay. Now, here's the cool thing about Gametime. You get to see the full price up front, no surprise fees at checkout. And my favorite part, the seat views are huge. You can actually check your exact view before you buy, not after. And they have these things called zone deals, where you pick a section that you like and you can save even more when they pick for you the seats. So it's really easy. 2 taps, you have great seats locked in. It's quick, easy, and actually makes you want to go to more events. That's the way it should be. What happened to that? So take the guesswork out of buying tickets at every type of event with Gametime. Download the Gametime app, create an account, use code LOCKEDON for $20 off your first purchase. Terms apply. Again, create an account, redeem code LOCKEDON, LOCKEDON, for $20 off. Download the Gametime app. Download it today. All right, we are back. Cowboys Squad Show. Landon McCool, former Cowboys coach Glenn Stretch Smith. Not only are we awaiting the full NFL schedule release, more importantly, trying to find out where Carmine lives.
He said
Carmine's from New Jersey.
I think I'm going to guess the city, Voorhees. Voorhees, New Jersey. Come on, Carmine. Is that where you're from?
Jason Voorhees? Well done. Now, listen, that schedule is official.
It's official. Yeah, it's on the Cowboys site.
Tweet it out. So that's incredible, which really is great. Like, honestly, like, again, knowing who we had to play and where we were playing them already, and knowing, that we had an international game and all the things that we knew, considering that, this feels like best case scenario for the arrangement of these games. If I'm honest.
Absolutely,
like, it really does. So Cowboys really did luck out quite a bit.
Yeah, I'm looking at it again. The Sunday from Brazil, Houston, and then a Thursday night game. That's gonna be tough, but it's early in the season, right? And then you got some time off before the big Green Bay showdown. You have 10 days off, right, Landon? Right? You got the Thursday night game, and then you don't play until week 6, Sunday night at Lambeau. Then you get some time until week 7, which is a Monday night game. So you got an extra day there. That will help. Home for the Cardinals, at Indy. Those are early starts. Home for the 49ers. Home for the Titans. Those are early. And then you get into Thanksgiving. And then after Thanksgiving, again, another little break before week 13, Monday night at Seattle.
I will point out that, so the one thing that maybe, and I don't know the timeline of this player specifically, the one thing that was also kind of time dependent that was interesting was when you played Indiana, because Daniel Jones, having dealt with his Achilles injury, we know is not going to be there in the early part of the season, right? So it'll be, I don't know off the top of my head what his timeline is, but the fact that game lands in the middle of the season, is interesting, and it might be right around when he's back. So that's the only thing that I see that like is working maybe against the Cowboys in their favor.
Okay.
Or against their favor, rather.
All right. As you pointed out, week 14 is the bye week, and then they come out of the bye at the Rams. That's going to be a late afternoon start, as you said. And then again, a little bit of a break before a Sunday night, week 16 home game with the Jags. And then week 17, home for the Giants. And then wrapping up the regular season on the road at the Commanders. So all in all, I mean, Green Bay, October, Brazil early. I mean, this is pretty good. It's really good. I like it.
Yeah, it's it really did work out well. I mean, obviously, like we said, tough schedule overall. I mean, the list of players, the teams that you got to play, where you're playing them, and again, having an international game, all that adds up to a difficult schedule. But as far as how it was arranged, where your bye week is, the way they handled a lot of the interplay between Thanksgiving and whatnot, I think that's all that's all very interesting, and I think it should work out well for the Cowboys.
I'm gonna say it helps you too, only taking that 30-minute flight to Houston after having to sit on that thing for probably 10 hours coming out of Rio.
Yeah, and then the other thing too, I just kind of did the math on too, is that two of the toughest teams that you have to play and two of the biggest games that you have to play are Seattle and the Rams, right? You're going to get I think it's a 10-day break for Seattle, right? No, it may be longer because I think you're playing Seattle on Monday night, right?
Right.
So, and you're playing Philadelphia on Thursday of Thanksgiving.
Right.
So you get an extra long break to play Seattle, and then you play the Rams after your bye. So it's kind of a murder.
You ever flown to Seattle on a Monday night?
I have, but from Los Angeles, which is not nearly as bad.
Oh, yeah. Hell, you can ride a skateboard that far.
Oh, I don't know about that. It's still pretty long ride up the coast, Coach. But yeah, I still think, it's as far as like having to play those teams. Like if you tell me that it's Philly, Seattle by the Rams, I'm like, man, that's kind of a murderer's row. But when I tell you that, you play Philly, but then you get like 10 days before you play Seattle, and then you get a bye before you play the Rams, I certainly think that helps you prepare for those two really difficult games really well.
Yeah, no doubt. Yeah, very well said. And so you have that stretch, Landon, like you talked about, but then I'm intrigued too. If you go to the beginning though, I'm really intrigued about week one and just kind of coming out of the gate. I mean, at the Giants, home for the Commanders, the Ravens in Brazil, on the road at Houston, and then a short turnaround for Tampa Bay. That's a key, critical, early stretch to start your season. I mean, that's a great test, but a great opportunity.
I will say this. I mean, Baltimore and Houston are tough teams to play, obviously. But I think they're also both AFC opponents, right? So you get the two easier NFC East teams, right? So those are obviously big, important games, but I think are winnable games considering who you're playing. Then you play two really tough games that are, I mean, every game is important, but non-conference games are less important than your conference, especially your division games. And then you kind of get into the meat of your schedule a little bit. So yeah, it's a lot of kind of logistics, especially after those first 2 weeks. But after that, like you are kind of getting a nice little almost season, then a little preseason, and then kind of getting back into the meat of your schedule a little bit more.
Yeah. I like it though. I like it. And I think it's important to really come out and set the tone and not mess around, not be sharp, ready to go, for the offense, pick up where they left off. And, hopefully this new and improved defense that we're all waiting to see, and I know they're waiting to see and put together, will be there as well.
Don't drink the water in Brazil.
I mean, they're going to have all kinds of travel guidelines, especially after what happened last time, because I think somebody did one of the players get robbed last time they were there?
Hey, I'm telling you, that year we went to Mexico, they cleaned us out. I'm talking about alpha to omega. Cleaned it out.
Wow.
We come back in after playing the game. It is nothing. Gone.
That's not good.
Oh, hey, I mean, we were just coming out of training camp. They had to send the equipment guys back, get sweats. I mean, I remember we had to write down, I mean, everything that you had. I'm telling you, they cleaned the joint out. There was not one thing left. Nothing.
Yeah. Well, hopefully security will be a little better this time. You would hope. I would think.
Oh, you think so? You
Then
would
again,
think so. Yeah, you would think so.
In case you're wondering, the Cowboys preseason, they're going to play at Seattle in their preseason opener, at Arizona week 2 on the road, and then their lone home preseason game week 3 of the preseason will be home against the Saints.
I mean, Landon, you are calling it to a T. You just talked about the flight from LA to Seattle. They're getting ready to take it now.
That's right. Yeah.
Oh, you're hot as a pistol.
That's right. I'm on it right now.
I'm telling you, you better go down the road and get one of them damn tickets.
Play some craps.
Let's see what else. I'm taking a look here. So, in the Green Bay game on the 18th, week 6, that's. I mean, again, like Coach, you've said multiple times, the fact that that's not late in the season, and that'll be on a Sunday night. I mean, that's perfect game. Obviously, on the road, getting your juices up for Sunday night. It's going to be just like it was last season. I mean, that's the game right there.
All right. I mean, Green Bay's a great place to go. I mean, it really is. I mean, I don't know if you've ever been there for a game, but I mean, if you're a football fan, you want to put that on your list of places to go. There's really nothing. Nothing I've ever seen like it. It is a true, it's just, I mean, small town America. And then here's this huge stadium. It's a cool place, but I don't want to go there in no damn December. I can promise you that.
I do love football royalty places like that. I mean, I live down about 2 miles from the Rose Bowl. And there is just something about those kind of places, right? There really is.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's just, and I mean, it's the town, it's the whole,
yeah,
it really is. And going that time of year, that's the perfect time of year. I mean, October evening, it'll be cool, but I mean, that's an awesome time of year to get to go in there and play. I mean, it really is that's a big time break.
And I'm kind of scrolling down here, guys. Again, Green Bay. I mean, 2 back-to-back road games. I mean, they're going to have the Sunday night game at Green Bay, and then Monday night at Philly. 2 tough road games back-to-back. But then after that, they've got 3 straight at home: Arizona, Indy, and the 49ers. I'm sorry. No, I'm sorry. 3 out of 4 at home: Arizona, at Indy, and then home for the 49ers, Titans, and Eagles. So 3 out of 4 at home.
Yeah,
it should be that way with that early season the way it is.
4 out of 5.
I mean, they can call that a home game in Rio if they want to, but in theory, you're 3 out of 5 on the road there, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, that travel is no joke. I'm telling you, when you're going that far, it's and especially for football. It's just not that. That's a tough. And both teams have it. I get it. I mean, you got to have Baltimore. It'll be a haul for them too. But it's there are definitely challenges sitting on an airplane 10, 11 hours before you ever get there.
Yeah, no doubt. And unlike last season, the Cowboys will not be playing on Christmas. So just Thanksgiving, they'll be home for Christmas. So that'll be good for them. Kind of break it up a little bit and break up some of those Thursday games and that whole thing. So kind of keeps them in more of a regular rhythm over the course of the season, which is good. I like that. Okay.
Yeah, it's certainly better for everyone's family too, I would say.
Yeah. No doubt.
I mean, that's always
well, and having that bye week late, right? I mean, it'll all make for a much better, I think, a much better, kind of holiday run there. But
yeah, for sure.
Well, you got to get I've never heard a coach say this, but it's a flair for the obvious here. It's not like I've ever heard a coach say, you know what, I hope we start slow. I hope we start damn four-wheel drive low and just crawl out of the gate. I mean, this schedule gives new meaning to the word, get out of the gate fast. Because, boy, yeah, with as tough as that is, you gotta win those first two games. You really do, and that I guarantee you, they're already saying that right now. God, we got to win these first two games.
Yeah, well, that's good. I hope so. I mean, they should, and that should be the mindset. And we saw, you remember last season, had that kind of ugly laid an egg game against the Bears early on, and they just could never really get any kind of serious momentum going. It was good, bad. It just, the whole thing just, that's why they ended up with the record they did. So hopefully a good start, and just like you said, right out of the gate strong will be good for this team.
Handicapping this right now, Landon, is this better than a 9-win football team?
Well, let me look at this. Let's see. I think it's probably at 9 or 10 wins.
Well, that's a Danny Sheridan in you coming out right there, setting the line.
I don't know if I'm ready to set the line, but I'm
just saying you're setting the line on over number wins right there. I mean, and then the question becomes, now you're going to go back and you're going to say, okay, well, let's look at Philadelphia's schedule. I mean, is Philadelphia a 10 or 11 win team with their schedule?
Yeah, I mean, I honestly don't know what to think about Philadelphia at this point. Like, I mean, how much is the effect of, because they're going to trade AJ Brown here probably in 2 weeks.
Yeah,
and losing Stoutland really is going to have an effect, and having their offensive line potentially take a step back is going to have an outsized effect on their offense.
New phases in defense.
Yeah, so it's really kind of, in this year more than in recent years, I would say, I think it's kind of tough to get my hands around what I actually think Philadelphia is going to look like this year.
Okay.
Yeah, I mean, again, that's the whole thing is, can you run with them early? You know what I mean? Can you stay? Yeah. Can you stay attached early in the season to them so that you don't get to where you're, at the midway point, you're 3 games back of them. That's what you.
Well, and I think it's also fair to ask of them at this point, can they keep it together for an entire season? Because it feels like the last 2-3 years, I mean, even the year they won the Super Bowl, for God's sakes, it felt like they had a great run at the end, but the wheels felt like they were coming off at multiple points. And this team just feels like it's susceptible to, total collapse at some point. And that's why the manner in which Jeff Stoutland left that team felt like it was the most ominous thing that I can think about happening in the entire NFL.
That's a big deal. I mean, he is arguably the best line coach in the game. And for him to walk away, that tells you that within that organization, there's something that's not, that doesn't feel right.
Huge.
Now, does that come out this year? I mean, you got didn't they replaced Patullo, so he's got a new offense coordinator, new offensive line coach.
Yeah, he's a young guy was a former backup quarterback just a parsec ago, for God's sakes, and now he's calling plays. And again, they got 2 offensive weapons in the draft that operate in the middle of the field, which doesn't really jive with the way Jalen Hurts wants to play. So it just feels like there's a lot going on behind the scenes potentially on that team, and there's always been a lot going on behind the scenes with that team. And at several different years, they've had periods where a very talented Eagles team absolutely collapsed, during long stretches of the season. I wouldn't be surprised if this is finally the kind of thing that drives Nick Sirianni out, even though he just recently won the Super Bowl a few years ago, because it's just so much chaos right now. And I think that they think that by just getting rid of AJ Brown, it's gonna help solve this. I don't think that that's necessarily the case here, because I think that they're gonna have a hard time finding the balance they need in the offense without AJ Brown, and especially as the run game becomes less effective, which it almost certainly will, because of the age of their offensive linemen and the fact that they lose Stoutland.
All right.
I know one thing. I mean, you look back at last year, and I felt the lowest time last year was just getting your ass smoked by Arizona. Those are the kind of things that you can't have happen to a football team that's got to have this kind of experience. You can't throw up your dress in a game like that. You just can't do it.
All right, let's take our final timeout. When we come back, final segment, and I want to ask you about that, Landon, and also about a recent episode that you did with Marcus. We'll do that. And again, the NFL, the Cowboys schedule has been released. We know all the opponents, the weeks, the whole thing. This is the Cowboys Squad Show. Let's talk about Rocket Money, because if you've ever opened your bank account and thought, where did all my money go? Well, you're not alone. Keeping track of subscriptions and spending and bills can really get overwhelming fast. That's where Rocket Money comes in. It helps you take control of your finances all in one place. Now, how does it work? How does it help? Well, it tracks all of your subscriptions in one spot and can help you cancel the ones you don't need with just a few taps. It automatically categorizes your spending so you can actually see where your money is going, and you can set budgets, get alerts, and stay on top of upcoming bills. It just makes everything feel more organized and gives you a clear picture of your finances day to day. So Rocket Money, it's a personal finance app that helps find and cancel unwanted subscriptions, monitors your spending, and helps you lower your bills so you can grow your savings. Let Rocket Money help you reach your financial goals faster. Join at rocketmoney.com/lockedon. That's rocketmoney.com/lockedon. Okay, we are back. Cowboys Squad Show, final segment. Landon McCool, the co-host of the Daily Locked On Cowboys podcast, former Cowboys coach Glenn Stretch Smith. So real quick recap. The Cowboys schedule has been released. Week 1 at the Giants, home for week 2, the opener against the Commanders. Week 3 in Brazil against the Ravens. Then they'll play week 4 at Houston. Quick turnaround, Thursday night game at home with the Bucs for week 5. Then they get some time off for a huge week 6, the rematch at Green Bay with Micah and the Packers on Sunday Night Football. Then again, a little break before a Monday night game, week 7 at Philly against the Eagles, round 1. Then they're back home for week 8, home for the Cardinals, a little rematch for the game coach was talking about from last season. Week 9 at Indy, and then back home for 3 in a row. Week 10 for the 49ers, week 11 for the Titans, and week 12, Thanksgiving, short turnaround there, Thursday against the Eagles. Week 13, Monday night game at Seattle, late bye. Week 14 is the bye week. And then coming out of the bye, week 15 at the Rams, week 16, Sunday night against the Jags, week 17, home for the Giants, and then they will wrap up the regular season at Washington. So there you go. Landon, I was going to ask, you and Marcus did an episode. Before I get to that, though, real quickly, one of the other episodes you did last week was talking about the Cowboys offense and how they can actually improve this season. I don't want to spoil the whole episode, but I thought it was only fair. We asked Marcus about it on Monday. What was your big input to that discussion? How can the Cowboys offense be better this season, in your opinion?
You have a lot invested in this Cowboys offensive line, and I think the way that it expressed itself last year was by not absolutely collapsing, despite the fact that they had a lot of injuries at different points in the offensive line. I think we talked about it on this show They only had the longest streak they had of 5 consecutive starters, I think, was 3 games in a row. They were constantly having to shuffle that offensive line. And with the new offensive coordinator, who is an offensive line coach specialist, all the money you've and draft picks you've invested there, to kind of break even at the offensive line with all the injuries you had was incredible, was great. And they were able to, help get them to, a really high level of offensive success. But at the same time, you didn't actually get to take any of the advantage of having all that, other than just not suffering, terrible losses and not seeing Dak get absolutely killed all the time. It was just some of the time. So I think if they can find some way to get some continuity and some health on the offensive line, it's going to help in a bunch of different areas, but most specifically, it's going to make them a better run game. It's going to help them be better in the red zone. It's going to help take pressure off of Dak Prescott to not have to pull a rabbit out of his hat between him and Pickens and CeeDee Lamb on third downs in order for them to consistently move the ball. They did it. They managed to pull it out a lot of times last year. And if you go back and watch the games, it's wild to watch sometimes, right? Like they have a first down false start or a first down hold or a tackle for loss. And suddenly they're in 3rd and 12 and Dak's throwing it 35 yards to CeeDee Lamb coming on a crosser. Right. And it's like, and it just happens over and over again. Imagine if they didn't have to live like that as an offense and if they were able to be more efficient because they were able to use the offensive line that they've invested very heavily in to lean on people a little bit more. So that's where I think the team is going to fight off regression on the offense. Is I think by the second year of Tyler Booker, hopefully a better year of health overall in the offensive line will drive improvement up front, which will help and touch all other areas of the offense.
Nice. Good answer.
Yeah, they got to be. I mean, they got to get out of being below average in the red zone. That's the key. Now, can you run the football? Can you get into some 2 tight end sets? Can span forward be more physical in these short yardage situations? That's what you got to. That's where you got to look at, and if they can do that, then they will have a chance. But I mean, that's something to me that you have to improve. Is you got to get the ball in the end zone instead of kicking threes. That to me, that's what killed you. Is you took advantage a lot of times of Aubrey, but man, you don't put yourself in that position. Go get in more. Let's get it in the end zone situations than sending him out there.
If you're getting down in the red zone, like you got to put it down. You got to put it in the goal line. Like you got to put it through the goal. Like because especially if you get some health and again, and I don't just mean Tyler Guyton being on the field. I mean Tyler Smith being just a little bit healthier than he was last year as well. And then you finally get that interior trio that we've been talking about and really truly taking advantage of it. I think that's going to really help with, like I said, the continuity is going to help with the penalties. Having your stars out there on the offensive line is going to help push guys off the ball, especially in the red zone where, everything's more compressed and it's harder to move the football.
Yeah. Right. I mean, you got to take advantage of the time that you get it in there. I can't emphasize that enough. That's why, that analytical side of everybody, credit card gambling and going for it on 4th down became such almost a joke because guys were just knowing that they had to get the ball in the end zone.
All right, we got a minute left, Landon. We can turn this into a tease. Tell me about this new deal for Dak, and then everybody can watch the episode with you and Marcus.
Yeah, I mean, it just is looking at the economics of the fact that Dak is due a lot of money next year, and I think at the time of the deal was signed, like Dak has kind of played extremely well, was an MVP candidate, and the concerns that you had about the long-term health of him has certainly been at least just been pushed back a little bit. I don't know if it's obviously gone for good, but the fact that he was able to get through a season without any problems is certainly a sign that maybe he's and he's only 34 years old, like quarterbacks are playing into their 40s now. So do you look at the economics of the situation and see, hey, do we help our cap next year a little bit more by signing Dak to an extension here while he's still at an age in which you would be potentially interested in doing such a thing?
Yeah. In the clutch, 75 says Coach is going to love this. Yeah, I am going to love it. If you can get away with paying him less than $60 million a year, I'm going to love it. And then Carmine said he's from Cherry Hills. Carmine, have you ever been on the Ben Franklin Bridge, for crying out loud? We'll send you a mic. And you can sit on the Ben Franklin Bridge and get on with us.
Is that the one? When I covered, when I was in Philadelphia, I had to cover the World Series in Philadelphia one year, but I had to stay in Cherry Hill, New Jersey. Is that the bridge that goes from New Jersey to Philly?
Yeah, what's one of them? The Ben Franklin. Come on, Carmine. What's taking you so long to reply, for crying out loud? Quit scratching your butt.
We got to get out of here.
Never been on the Ben Franklin.
We got to get out of here before Coach says something wrong to one of their fans. They still up on the Ben Franklin Bridge with a microphone.
All right. Love you guys. We will do it again on Monday. Be sure and check out Marcus and Landon on the daily Locked On Cowboys podcast. And of course, you can hear Coach on the radio. If you're in the area, see him on TV as well. Have a great weekend and enjoy the schedule release. This has been the Cowboys Squad Show.